Each of us have within us a dual understanding. There's an intellectual understanding. That is the general overall view and picture of where and what the Dharma is and where I'm going within it. The sense of where I am in relationship to that map, and the understanding of my life in perspective to that map, and also the understanding of what I am in relationship to this greater overall understanding. And that intellectual understanding often is the guiding influence on how we are or try to live within our practice. And because often that understanding isn't really close to where we actually are in our realized understanding. The realized understanding is where the chickens come home to roost. That's where we actually live within. That's the understanding of our living, of our day-to-day reactions or not, our general ease, all of the ways that we actually have adjusted the consciousness so that it now is a thriving, abiding, realized living. Now, the intellectual understanding is often a few steps or sometimes many miles ahead of our realized understanding. And what we try to do is we try to live our intellectual understanding. And so there's a kind of spiritual posturing that often comes from that, because which are an indication. Anytime you do something that's inauthentic, you're stretching yourself beyond what you really realize, what you have integrated and actually know. And it's a good indication that there's something phony going on here, that I haven't really understood the way I'm trying to live. My mind thinks it understands, but there isn't a deep abiding understanding. Now, a practice, meditation, is really about the deep abiding understanding, the deep realization that is integral to our living. And so we all know that intellectually that suffering, the end of suffering, desire is the cause of suffering. But our realization, our realized understanding is, God damn, why are they pounding those nails on that roof? Why don't they find another time to do that? Right? So, in my early days of being a monk, I took on the ordination in Burma. The day I got there is the day they started building a building next to the meditation hall. And they're very chattery. They chatter as they work, the Burmese. We all do, but it was real clear to me that they were going to try to annoy me. And so for 5 months I fought that temptation. And the day I was scheduled to leave was the day the building was complete. Now, we are going to be living within this taxing noise for some of us, because we have come to rest our dependency upon the quiet that we have known this hall to be. Okay, but as our understanding, our intellectual understanding far exceeds our reach here. This is an opportunity to live the realization of non-suffering, of surrendering the ideal and being malleable within life. It doesn't interfere with anything if there's malleability. If there is an intellectual overview and a realized underview, then there's going to be constant conflict within that. Now, both understandings need a constant readjustment. There's no single understanding that is the fixed representation of Dharma. And for us to constantly be moving the fence posts of what we know and understand and what we live with and can live with outward into less dependency, more malleability, towards ease. And if the fence posts start coming in at us so that we find it more difficult to live within different circumstances, then we are practicing adharmically, against the Dharma. And many people think intellectually that they are moving in accordance, but their irritations, their annoyances, the rubs of life are actually closing in around them. We have specialized our practice, or could specialize our practice to such a degree that unless the environment meets our specifications, unless our inward life meets our specifications and idealization, then we don't think we're actually living up to the true Dharma. The true Dharma is the Dharma of contentment, of ease, of being. That's the true Dharma. The true Dharma is to walk out of our mental frame of reference. And that's why when we have a mental frame of reference, we have to keep pushing, looking, seeing the limitation of what we believe. What's the value of that intellectual view? What gives me some sense of direction, perhaps? What's the limitation? It forms and sets an ideal. What's my realized Dharma? And what's the limitation of my realized Dharma? So we're constantly moving those two out. One of the more consistent ways I contained myself throughout my practice for many years was that I thought I knew what I was doing all the time. And I thought I knew exactly where I was within that doing. And then I would have a realization or an insight that would show me that I had mistaken not only the place I was, but the entire way the Dharma moves, and I would adjust to that. And then I thought I knew what it was all about. And then I would have another realization that would show me that that was false. And then I knew again. And okay, I would establish a new fence post. And on and on and on it went until I realized that the true Dharma was not to set down any fences at all. To have the whole thing open. Not to preconceive where I was going or where I was within that journey to where I was going. And then the whole thing opened wide up. Then everything was measureless. You can only measure something when you have an objective that you're moving towards. You pull up that fence post and there's no objective distance you're from anything. And therefore everything is wide open. The ideas we create about our Dharma, about where we are within it, about the journey we're taking, actually undermine the process that is really unfolding, which is a deepening of our understanding of life. Understanding doesn't go linearly in one direction, north to south, east to west. It goes down. It's vertical. It goes down, penetrating what I think I am, further than what I think I am, further than what I thought anything was. And therefore it takes me outside the range of thought entirely. until we interface with the mystery, with the wonder of life. And then we melt into that wonder.